It's a bass. No, it's a crappie. There we go. There we go. Now, this is what we're looking for. Look at that. One thing about crappie is they don't nibble. They just thump it and get it right there. And that is a great one right there. That's just the right size I like to catch. Perfect size for fillets and cook up quick. The really big ones, I always turn those loose. I don't much like cooking them and eating them, but that right there, that one is money. And he thought that little graph shad was pretty cool. So it's cold and I'm crappie fishing, which is a great time to catch crappie. But what I'm looking for is, one is I like to fish deeper water, and deeper for me is like something that's over 10 foot. And there's a couple things I'm gonna look for. One is cover of some sort, like brush. That's the obvious choice. But docks are another thing that is really a great feature that's gonna hold a lot of crappie. They just kind of congregate up underneath there. And that's kind of the unique thing about crappie is so many times when you find one, you find a bunch. So in this situation, what we got right here, I got the best of both worlds. We got this boat slip right here, boats in it, winter time. So you can see most of the boats are gone. It makes it much easier to fish that dock. But there's also a lot of brush in and around, especially where the poles are that the dock's secured to the bottom with. And being able to look up underneath it with my forward-facing sonar, I can look and see if there's any fish around that brush or not. It really makes finding them pretty easy. And the next thing is you got to fool them. So a little bitty bait like that right there. But when it comes to crappie, minnows. Just use minnows. So what I'll show you here is look underneath there. This here is all fish. That's a whole bunch of fish. And if you look, it's underneath the pontoon boats. Pontoon boats floating up here. Here's some brush right here. So this is like a Christmas tree in front of that pole that's coming down from there. So it's just a good combination. We got the cover overhead and then we got the brush underneath. That's their house. Pretty cool to have a group like that. It's important. It really helps a lot. Got one. Yep. There he is. Nice. There we go. Got us another one right there. Another really nice size. That fish there, I literally just kind of held it still before he'd bite it. Like he didn't want to chase it. There's a bunch of them in there, but they're kind of in not the mood you want them to be in when you're crappie fishing, but still managed to catch him. When I'm looking for docks, especially in the wintertime, I'm gonna look for docks that are near those steeper banks or near the creek channels, somewhere where there's depth involved in it. Depth is, I think, probably the most important thing when I'm looking for docks. Then you start looking for brush combinations along with that, and then that's really the best combo. There it is right there. Okay. So this big circle here, that is a group of crappie. And there's some brush in behind it. And if I pan a little more to the right, you can see the brush. There's a lot more brush. And there's crappie over here in this brush as well. You can see those. This here, it looks more like just, it's fish, but I don't think it's a crappie. It has a little life to it, but these look like crappie here. Crappie tend to be up above stuff a lot of times. Like this is very signature for a group of crappies to be. Ideally, I want to get my cast all the way back to here. So look, bait hits the water and then I leave it on a tight line and it's going to pendulum like this. Literally fall right through those fish. First couple casts, I was with that line tight, I could literally feel fish on that braided line with that super sensitive rod and braid like that. It's so easy, you can feel every little thing. I got a good reference because of where the pole is. I can see that the fish start at the pole and go back from there. So what that means is we've got the fish are underneath of those pontoon boats. And so there's a couple ways, you know, obviously you can cast to them, but another good way many times is if you're trying to get underneath there is basically a slingshot approach where you just load up the rod and just shoot that little jig head up underneath there. It can work really well. You can get into some of those places that you just normally can't get a jig by casting to it if you want to get underneath it. Not a very hard technique, really. All you're going to do is make sure you load up the rod really well, though. See if we can catch one that way. Yep. So as you can see, there's another good one right here. Nice one. Oh, it's a jumbo. Look at that. That one. Yeah, that one got that just like we knew he would. All right, just like that. And a little minnow. What a great looking fish, huh? All right, so far this has been working out really well. Color I was using today is smelt, and it's very translucent. You can just about see right through it. But I mean, my favorite color is probably this dark and stormy one. It's got a purple back. It's this little Z-Man, the micro graph shad, right? If you look at it up front, you think it's just purple all the way through, but it's not. Like the belly is like clear, got some sparkle to it. That one right there is really a favorite of mine. And with that Elastec plastic being as crazy flexible as it is, that little tail just wags along down there. Like, it's so easy to put action into that bait. Literally trying to hold it still, it's still moving. Wintertime, I'm going with the real natural colors. Springtime, I'm gonna start using these here. We got the chartreuse with the gold back on it, and that's the chartreuse and white, which is a great combo. I very seldom make the head the same color as the bait. Like, I'll like to use like a red head on it, or a pink head on it, or something that's sort of like, doesn't blend into the bait, it sort of contrasts with whatever color it is. This one here is pretty similar. That's probably about as close as I get to the same. That one has got a little glow paint on it, so it's sort of a muted chartreuse color. But I really like that red color with like the white body. Contrast, for whatever reason, really seems to be popular with the crappie. Now, when it comes to the jig head sizes that I use, now my favorite one is probably the 1/10 of an ounce. When you start using Elastec, what you got to keep in mind is you're not going to be able to use the exact same weight head that you're used to. The reason being is Elastec is super stretchy and buoyant. It requires a little more weight in order to make it fall at the same rate as what the other plastics may do. So I'm using 11-pound braid, and then this is a 5-pound test fluorocarbon leader. And when it comes to that dock fishing, I'm very fun. I use this rod a lot anyways, but when it comes to the dock fishing, this one right here is a G Loomis GLX, and it's only a 6-footer. So it's 6 foot long, and that's because shooting those docks like that, it's very easy. This is such a great rod when it comes to my accuracy on my cast. I'm not trying to cast all that far, but I'm trying to cast it or shoot it underneath there. That little short rod like that is just ideal. 2 power, so it's pretty soft, but it loads up well. I don't want it a whip, you know, because you do want a little bit of that power so it will load up, and then when you let go of that bait, it goes shooting out there. This is a 2500 Vanford, and the whole setup is just super light. And what that means is sensitivity. We got the right rod, we got the right reel, we got the right line, we got the right jig head, and that little Z-Man graph shad. So That right there is a whole crappie catching system. There's one right there. Perfect, just like it's supposed to. And we got us another little crappie. Ideal, as you can see, got it just like we want. Although crappie are good about that. They don't typically nibble on stuff. When you get a crappie bite, it's a thump every time.